What up, fight fans? It's your main man, Made Man, back at it again. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. All right, upcoming March 7th, 2015, we got Adrien Broner versus John Molina. Adrien Broner standing at 29-1 with 22 KOs. John Molina 27-5 with 22 KOs. Looking to be a pretty much a good show. You know, Adrien Broner promises is a good show. Pretty much every fight that John Molina is involved in is always entertaining. He's coming off fight of the year against Lucas Matisse. He's coming off back-to-back losses, unfortunately, against Lucas Matisse and Humberto Soto. A fight that a lot of people thought he was going to possibly win against Humberto Soto. So, you know, John Molina is pretty much in a position now where he's like one fight away from Friday night fights, man. He already has 5 losses. His most notable win of his pretty much entire career is Mickey Bay. That's, you know, and Mickey Bay is not quite an A-level fighter, you know what I mean? If you look at his losses some of the losses that he sustained at this point in his career, he lost to Antonio DeMarco. Antonio DeMarco is a fighter that Adrien Broner ran through at the 135 division. Now, sure, Adrien Broner did come in overweight for Antonio DeMarco, but the fact of the matter is when he got in the ring, I mean, he made him look just real amateur. It was like different pedigree. So, if I see John Molina losing to fighters like that, then the Soto fight, man. Not to mention when he beat Mickey Bay, he lost what 90% of that fight until Mickey Bay got reckless in the final round, in the 12th round, and ended up getting knocked out. But John Molina possesses real good punching power. We've seen him knock down Lucas Matisse twice. He has 22 KOs in his 27 wins, so that's not bad at all. But the fact is that that's not enough. I don't think he has some decent tools. He's not a big mover. He's a stand in front of you, come forward kind of fighter. Relies a lot on his punching power, hoping to really clip you pretty good. This is a style that's pretty much tailor made for, say, an Adrien Broner. You know what I mean? He looks for those type of fighters. The thing is that John Molina may have the power, but he does not have the punch output. I don't think he's not a volume puncher at all. You have to be a volume puncher in order to really do some damage to Adrien Broner. If you go back to Adrien Broner's fight against Marcos Maidana, yeah, Marcos Maidana had power, but also Marcos Maidana is a volume puncher in which he stayed on top of Adrien Broner. This is something that John Molina possibly is going to have to do. Now, because everyone knows that Adrien Broner's stigma is, once you start to put a lot of punches on him, he's already a low output puncher, you know what I mean? He doesn't punch much. He's looking to pop shots. He's looking to counter you in one shot at a time. But John Molina is not a volume puncher, so he's going to stand right there in front of Adrien Broner and be countered all night long. Now, Adrien Broner has his stigmas as well. Everybody, like I said before, he has low punch output. So, some people would like to see him move a lot more, move a lot around the ring a lot more. He stands in one spot. He has a problem. He overthinks too much in the ring, some say. So Adrien Broner has his own stigmas. But the thing is that John Molina cannot exploit those things because he's not a volume puncher. Now, I think Adrien Broner will be able to take the punches of John Molina. I mean, Adrien Broner went from 135 up to 147 where he won the world championship. He's been in the ring with much heavier fighters. Sure, he took the championship from Paulie Malignaggi, who's not really that big of a puncher, but he managed to get in there with Marcos Maidana, and despite being knocked down 2 times, he still got back up and he finished that fight, and it was also a very close fight, I thought. So Adrien Broner can take a punch also, and I don't think John Molina is a big enough puncher, especially not a volume puncher, to really phase it, you know what I mean? Also, Adrien Broner pops a good punch, packs a good pop on his punches. So John Molina will not be able to just walk right through the front door on, say, Adrien Broner. Now, the X factor in this particular fight is that John Molina, like I said, is coming off back-to-back losses, and he's one fight away from Friday night fights. You know what I mean? So his desperation is going to be high. He's going to be taking a lot of chances on, say, Adrien Broner, and Adrien Broner will have to be prepared for that. He's going to have to move. I do not suggest Adrien Broner standing in the middle of the ring, standing in one spot, trying to Philly shield the whole night, and trying to he's going to have to use movement. I highly suggest him using movement. Do I think John Molina can knock Adrien Broner down? Absolutely, if he put enough punches on him, and Adrien Broner will give John Molina that by standing in one particular spot. So I thought in his last fight, Adrien Broner's last fight against Emmanuel Taylor, which I called that fight. If you go back to my post-fight video, I said he was 9 seconds away from a fucking draw. If Adrien Broner did not knock down Emmanuel Taylor in that final round, I called that fight a draw. It was a very, very close fight, but it was a good fight. But however, we seen Adrien Broner, I thought he progressed a lot in that particular fight. He moved a lot more. His punch output was definitely brought up a lot more in this fight than we have seen in, say, previous fights. They're gradually raising Adrien Broner's competition level every fight. After that, he took that loss to Marcos Maidana, and he, which a lot of people said he shouldn't have jumped from 135 and went up to 147. But hey, he did it, and he won a world title. Now they got him back down at 140, where he took on Carlos Molina. Little Carlos Molina, not the other Carlos Molina, and he beat him easily. I guess he was trying to display to the world then that he was getting better and better. But then we seen him in there with Emmanuel Taylor, who is a pretty decent boxer. Despite the loss to Chris Algieri, Emmanuel Taylor is not an easy task for a lot of boxers at 140. But now they're stepping him up to John Molina, and this is, like I said, this is more of a style that's tailor-made. I think honestly this particular fight is meant to use Broner's popularity. We know this is the first fight card for Al Heyman over here at NBC with his whole professional boxing champions whatever thing, and we know he's using. This is a very popular card that he's using, and we know Adrien Broner is a very, very popular fighter. So you're putting him in a ring with a guy who's tailor-made to his style. He'll counter Molina all night, and like I said, I think Broner definitely possesses the pop to really put some real good punches on John Molina to keep him from walking in that front door. So my prediction for this particular fight, I'm going to give it to Adrien Broner by stoppage. Yes, by stoppage. Now, when I go there, I'm going to say that it's going to be interesting to see where Adrien Broner's power is in this particular fight, because since he left the 135 division, he has not, I repeat, has not had a knockout. Sure, he went straight up to 147. He didn't knock anyone out. He's now down at 140, and since he's been at 140, he still does not have a knockout. So people probably saying, "Hey, man, you out of your mind to think that Adrien Broner is going to knock out John Molina." Why would you think that? Well, I mean, I think now he's had a couple fights at 140. We see his power. We've seen him knock down Emmanuel Taylor. It took him 11 rounds to do so. But the pop was there, and it seems to me since that Carlos Molina fight, he's definitely getting more stronger. You know what I mean? So I think he has the pop. I mean, I think he's getting it back. I think we're going to see it in this particular fight. I hope so, but it's going to be interesting to see where his particular power is, since we haven't seen a knockout from Broner in quite some time now. So I don't know, but sorry, I give it to Adrien Broner by stoppage, 9th round, 10th at the latest. You know what I mean? But I don't think it'll be a one-sided fight. I do think John Molina may win a couple rounds, but I just think all in all, Adrien Broner will eventually stop John Molina, because but with John Molina lack of being able to go side to side, and he's going to look to try to be aggressive and come forward all night to Adrien Broner. That gives Adrien, and then not to mention he's not a volume puncher, and neither is Adrien Broner, so that gives him time to counter and just do his thing. So I just don't see John Molina being able to get past that. But I will do a post-fight video on this particular fight, because I do want to go in about the fact that it's time for Adrien Broner to get back in there with A-listers. Adrien Broner wants to be the future of boxing. He claims he wants to be XYZ. So in order to do so, he turned down $40 million to get with Jay-Z and him. So if you want to be the future, man, you got to get in there with some bigger names. We know he fights at 140. Terrence Crawford is there. Of course, Lucas Matisse is there. Lamar Peterson is there. That fight is highly unlikely, given they train out of the same gym. But Danny Garcia is still there. We don't know for how much longer. Maybe after this Peterson fight he has upcoming, maybe he goes up to 147. But if not, Danny Garcia is there. And we want to see Broner in the ring with guys like that. You know what I mean? Broner's been now, how should I say, nurtured since he's been at the 140 division. John Molina is a fighter style tailor-made for his. Some say the Carlos Molina was way too small. Emmanuel Taylor was a very, very credible fight, but some say still different pedigree, so I don't know. But the fact of the matter is we want to see Adrien Broner there with A-listers now after this particular fight, if he wins this fight, and especially if he wins this fight in impressive fashion. So looking for a good show, March 7th. Looking forward to a good show. I give it to Adrien Broner. To the next video, it's your main man, Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm on Twitter. I'm at MadeMan511, and I'll see y'all after this fight. Peace out.